Hello and welcome along to this week's edition of the Premier League Zone. Fascinating round of matches in this match day 8 that we have seen. Let's get right to it. Firstly, the surprise of Tottenham Hotspur losing once again 3-0, got beat in the Champions League 7-2 out of the League Cup against Colchester on penalties, and getting hammered in this game 3-0. Tottenham look lost at the moment. It's not happening for the manager. The players look dissatisfied, demotivated. Looks like that match against Liverpool in the Champions League final was the end of their era as we know it. They can't come back from that mentally for the moment, and worrying signs for Tottenham fans, especially with Hugo Lloris dislocating his elbow after whilst that game was going on. Trying to stop the goal from Brighton. Yeah, very worrying signs indeed for a team that have not won away from home since February, and showing no signs of recovery. But credit to Brighton, great win for them at home, much needed win for Graham Potter's team, and fabulous win for Brighton there. Game of the day on Saturday was Liverpool and Leicester. For me, this deserved to be a draw. I know Liverpool had more chances, but Leicester once again proved that they're going to be up there, challenging for a top 6 place. Fantastic team that Brendan Rodgers have got together against his former team, and played very, very well in this game. Scored a great goal, great move by Leicester for the goal for James Maddison, and deserved the goal, deserved the point out of this game. Sadio Mane scoring for Liverpool once again. When he scores, Liverpool certainly don't lose. 36 games since they've lost when he scored. The certain talisman of Liverpool is the Senegalese. But right at the end, controversy with the VAR. It was Mane principally involved. He went down, and it was VAR assisted. The referee gave the penalty. For me, there was contact, of course, but not enough to warrant a penalty. Mane went down far too easy for me, and it shouldn't have been given a penalty. But he was, and James Milner stepped up, super cool, last kick of the game, and won the game for Liverpool. 8 of 8, the 8th wonder of the world, Liverpool at the moment. They're a train that are just not stopping. Runaway train at the top of the summit. We'll move on to the other team that are going for the title very soon, but a fantastic win for Aston Villa, 5-1 against Norwich. 2 goals by Wesley, their summer signing from Club Brugge for £22 million. Great signing for them, and massive win for Villa. Nearly 20 years, the last team to be promoted that scored 5 goals away from home. And impressive win for Villa there. But we do have to speak about Super Sunday, and it was a Super Sunday, full of shocks, goals and surprises. None more so than Man City and Wolves. Credit to Wolves, they defended well, stuck at the task, and hit City on the counter-attack right at the end when City were going for the win. Probably going a bit too gung-ho in the end, but they needed to, knowing that Liverpool already won. And they got caught on the counter-attack twice by Adama Traore, a very quick, skillful player. Picked City off, and fabulous win for Nuno Espirito Santo. Won in midweek, 1-0 against Besiktas in the Europa Liga. They started very bad this season, but they've really, really come to the fore in the last week. They won against Watford 2-0. Then they won midweek in the Europa League, and now they've won at the Etihad Stadium. Fabulous win for them. City weren't at the top game, didn't play bad, had numerous chances. David Silva creating the best when he hit the bar from a free kick, but first defeat in a long time for Pep Guardiola at home. First time in 41 matches that they've not scored when they played against Huddersfield. Only the 4th loss in 61 for Guardiola's team in the Premier League. And it's a tall ask. It's a tall order for City at the moment. I'm just looking at the league table now. 8 points adrift of Liverpool. Last season they were 7 points adrift and still managed to win the title. But Liverpool have learnt from that experience. They'll have gained confidence from the fact that they can go again. It's a similar team. They've not spent a lot of money, but they didn't need to because it's a well-made team that Jurgen Klopp has formed together. and they're looking good. I thought at the start of the season that City would do it again, but you never rule them out. They've got quality there, no doubt about it, but Liverpool are in the box seat. They are in the driving seat right now, and with that experience from last season, they are primed to win it. But there's still 30 games to go. Who knows? Form, injuries, confidence. Just ask Newcastle all those years ago. They were, what, 12 points ahead at one point against Man United, and everyone knows what happened then. So, yeah, they're in the box seat, but you never say never in this Premier League, and certainly of all seasons, crazy Premier League. Great win for the Chelsea that is more English than ever. Fantastic win for them. Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham scoring a great chip. N'Golo Kante and Michy Batshuayi, who is still there at Chelsea, scoring the goals there. And Frank Lampard's Chelsea are getting better as the weeks go on. They won in midweek against Lille in the Champions League, first win of the season in the Champions League for Chelsea. Winning away from home, scoring more than 3 goals in 3 consecutive away matches for the first time since August 2009. They're looking good, Chelsea, to fight for a top 4 place, which is what they should be fighting for this season. I still think, even though they've not been able to bring any players in, only Kovacevic, who was already there from last season, they've still got a very, very good team. Yes, they don't have Eden Hazard, but they've still got quality, and they've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, who came back. He's going to be a great player for them. Very tricky winger. Won't be long before he'll be back in the England team. He's only just coming back to form, obviously from a 6-month injury, but he's very, very good player. And they still got Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well. So, yeah, the English Chelsea are making waves this season. But I have to discuss about Man United. Losing once again against Newcastle. It's not really a surprise what's going on here. And it's worrying for Man United fans because they played against a team who are going to be battling for relegation, no doubt about it. Newcastle are not that good. They play to the strengths, but they're going to be battling against relegation, and it's worrying times for Man United. Solskjaer won his first 9 away games on the trot, and since then he's not won any. 11 away games, no wins, and the last away win was against Paris Saint-Germain. That famous night for him. Since then, the wheels have come off, literally for our league team, and yeah, they are in 12th place. They're closer to the drop zone than the top 4, and the table never lies. They're there for a reason. They're not good enough. Yes, they've had injuries, key injuries, but the squad's not deep enough. They're playing Europa League, which is certainly hampering them. And I looked at that team sheet at the start of the game and I thought Newcastle got a chance to get a draw there. Not thinking they get a win, but I thought 4 of the 11 are 4 players that can make an impact for them. That's not good enough for a team of that calibre. A team that should be challenging for top 4 are just bobbing around mid-table. At the moment, they're looking like top 10 is going to be their aim, because I could name 8 or 9 teams better than them right now. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, and for them, January window could be their bingo moment to bring in, which they need, 2 or 3 players, but it's always notoriously difficult in January. And a friend of mine in New Zealand, who's a Man United supporter, told me a very telling thing, that United need to go back to being a football club rather than a business. And he's totally right. United are world class at business negotiations, marketing, global sales of shirts, but when it comes to the football club, they're languishing down at the bottom of the table, and they're there for a reason. They're taking the eye off the ball. They've made some horrible decisions down the pass, and it showed that it's telling that with Jose Mourinho as well, saying that his second place in that time was his best achievement as a coach. Everyone laughed at him at the time. No one's laughing at him now. It seems like with a very similar team that he had, he got them to second place, which they're a million miles off. I can honestly say I'd be amazed if they get in the top 8 this season, even if they bring in some players, because they're just so way off. No fear factor for them now. It's been not even a surprise. Like I said, even like against they played West Ham a couple of weeks ago, got beat 2-0. I looked at it and thought, so what? Years ago that would have been an earthquake of a moment, like, oh wow, Man United actually got beat, but not anymore. You only have to see their team. They are average at bang best. And there's serious issues, but it's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault. He will take the can, yes, but it's not his fault. You put anyone in, they've seen with David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho. None of them have got the real best out of this team. And it's got worse, yes, but it's upstairs, which is the big issue which is the big issue. If I can get my teeth out, when you've got problems above, that filters down to player level. I don't care what anyone says. That atmosphere of going around in circles, not having a clear plan, filters down to the team, first team affairs, and they are a total mess. And United are in crisis, and they've got a long way to go. It might get worse before it gets better. So we'll see. We break off for the international break. When we do come back, Man United have got an almighty game against Liverpool. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be the perfect game to come back to. I know what he means, because they don't need any motivation for it, but still, playing against the league leaders could be a good time to catch them after the international break. There's always surprises when teams come back, a lack of rhythm, players coming back from international duties, travelling from all across the world. But yeah, it'll be the tie of the round when we come back from the international break, and that's what we've got time for this week's Premier League edition. As always, if you've got a question or an opinion, you can tweet at La Zona Premier, because sometimes I do it in Spanish. And I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for joining us. And as always, long live the Premier League.